The key to our true power, to our purpose, and our potential lies in one thing. And that thing is the sacred union between the masculine and the feminine. See, for the past 10 years, my journey of self-discovery has led me towards one undeniable truth, which is that we live in a world of duality, light and dark, day and night, heaven and earth, and most importantly, masculine and feminine. And what I'm learning is that these two forces, these polar opposites, are not enemies. They are not here to fight each other. They are partners in creation, two energies locked in a sacred dance, forever reaching towards balance and forever striving towards harmony. And see, it's in that balance, in that harmony, where the secrets of the universe are revealed. Now, imagine my surprise when I discovered that this sacred union, this divine polarity, exists inside a cup of tea. See, those of you that have sat with ayahuasca know that it is more than just a psychedelic. It's a technology. It's a living intelligence. It's a bridge between two worlds. And here's where it gets crazy. Ayahuasca is made with two different plants, each containing different energies, but it's the union of these opposites which produces something divine, a powerful entity. See, ayahuasca is more than just medicine. It's a living symbol of creation. It's the union of masculine and feminine. And what I later learned is that this truth, this sacred dance of the masculine and feminine, isn't just symbolic, it's universal law. In the Hermetic philosophy, they call this the principle of gender, which is the seventh and final principle of the seven Hermetic principles. And the principle of gender states that gender exists in all things, which means every atom, every idea, every living being carries both masculine and feminine energy. And what this means is that these two forces are the foundation for all creation. And it is their interplay that is the cosmic dance which gives birth to all life. And you see this everywhere. Yin and yang, the sun and the moon, Shiva and Shakti. Different cultures, the same message, which is that creation happens through the union, not through opposition. And that's why ayahuasca is so unique, because it's a living example of this principle made manifest. Two separate plants, each carrying their own separate energy, but when combined, something miraculous is born. And so the two plants that make up ayahuasca are chacruna and the Banisterius capivine. Now, chacruna is where the feminine energy comes from. And chacruna is our connection to the higher realms. She brings the vision. She opens up our perception, our intuition, and our creativity. She expands our consciousness beyond the physical realms. See, chacruna is the light bringer, the cosmic feminine that reveals what has always been hidden. Her energy is fluid, receptive, and illuminating. She shows us the unseen. She is our guide into the spirit world, but she does not hold us there. She is not the container. That's the role of the vine, the masculine energy. See, the vine provides structure, grounding, and a connection to the earth. It holds and contains the experience like a sacred bridge between spirit and matter. It's the stabilizing force. It's the protector, the one that keeps you tethered as you drift off into infinity. See, the vine anchors us to this world, reminding us that as we fly through the cosmos, as we explore the spirit realm, we belong to the earth. And that's what makes this brew even more fascinating, because it's not just spiritually intelligent, it's also biologically brilliant. See, let's look at this through the lens of science for a moment. Chacruna contains DMT, which is a powerful psychoactive component, often called the spirit molecule. But here's the crazy part, is that DMT is not orally active, which means that you could take a smoothie full of chacruna leaves, blend it up, drink it down, and nothing would happen. And the reason is because in our gut exists an enzyme called MAO, monoamine oxidase, which immediately breaks down the DMT and prevents it from crossing our blood-brain barrier. And now this is where the vine comes in, because in the vine there exists an MAOI, which is monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which shuts off that enzyme in our gut thus allowing the DMT to become orally active and cross the blood-brain barrier, thus opening up the gateways to the visionary realms. Now think about that. Think about how crazy that is. Two plants, completely different species, growing in one of the most biologically diverse ecosystems on the planet. And yet, when combined, they form a perfect symbiosis. See, when these two plants unite, when the feminine leaf merges with the masculine vine, a new consciousness is born. The grandmother, La Madre, the spirit of ayahuasca herself. See, ayahuasca is not simply feminine. She is the harmony of both. She's the balance between grounding and expansion, between earth and the cosmos, between the material and the mystical. She is creation embodied, the bridge between heaven and earth, between the physical and the divine. Now, here's where things get mysterious, because as long as we've known about ayahuasca, no one truly knows how it was discovered. Think about this for a second. You have two different plants, a vine that climbs high into the jungle canopy and a small shrub that grows quietly on the forest floor. They don't look alike, they don't grow together, and the Amazon contains anywhere from 40,000 to 80,000 different plant species. And what's crazy is that these two plants just perfectly combine to make something magical. They create a portal between worlds. Now, what are the odds? See, the mainstream explanation is that our ancestors just found and discovered ayahuasca through a process of trial and error, which makes absolutely no sense, especially when you realize and know that a lot of the plants in the Amazon are poisonous. Not to mention, our ancestors would have to know what they were looking for. So the question then becomes, how did they know to combine these two plants? Who taught them? Where did this knowledge come from? Now, if you ask the Shipibo, they will say that the plants told them. More specifically, they will say that tobacco told them. And tobacco is one of the most respected plant medicines, not only in the Amazon, but in the entire world. Now, there are many different stories and myths, but essentially, the general story is that the spirit of tobacco told some of the first healers how to make ayahuasca. While this sounds crazy, what this points to is that there is an intelligence in nature. And this is what makes ayahuasca so profound, because it points to something far greater than just simple chemistry. It points to a living, breathing intelligence that exists within nature itself. A consciousness and an intelligence that has always been there, teaching, guiding, and reminding us who we are. But somewhere along the way, somewhere in our evolution, we lost this connection to nature. We stopped listening to the whispers of nature, to the hum of rivers, to the language of trees, and to the pulse of earth itself. Somewhere along the way, we traded the symphony of nature for the static of technology. We paved roads, we built walls, and we called it progress. Now we live in concrete jungles, surrounded by noise, but starving for silence, overstimulated, yet completely disconnected. See, the natural world is alive and conscious. It's always speaking, it's always teaching us, but we can no longer hear it because we are too distracted by the modern world. We have become completely numb by comfort and screens and by the illusion of control and safety. And that's why ayahuasca is so important and why she's needed now more than ever, because she connects us or reconnects us to the natural world. She clears the interference and the static and reminds us that we are not separate from nature, that we are nature. See, ayahuasca is Mother Earth in the purest form. She is the living intelligence of the planet. And when we sit with her, we don't just heal, we remember. We remember that the earth is our home. It's our source. It's our teacher. It's our guide. And see, during one of my ceremonies, I had this vision that showed me this truth in a way that I'll never forget. See, I was on Earth and I began to ascend into the spirit world. And as I was leaving Earth, as I was transitioning from the physical world into the energetic world, I noticed that I was connected to Earth. And the connection was a vine. And what's crazy is I realized that that tether, that vine, wasn't just holding me in place, it was reminding me of who I am and where I'm from. It was reminding me that I'm human and that I'm from Earth and that I belong to this realm. And in a weird way, that means something, right? You see, we often talk about ascending, about reaching higher states of consciousness, escaping and breaking free from the physical world. But ayahuasca reminds us the opposite. She reminds us that we are here on Earth in this realm for a reason. See, we are meant to have a human experience. We are meant to walk, to breathe, to feel, to build. And I believe this is why she keeps us tethered. Because if we venture too far into the spirit world, we forget who we are and where we're from. And when that happens, you become ungrounded. You lose connection to your physical body and to the physical world. And when that happens, you lose the point of this entire human experience. See, ayahuasca, she reminds us that spiritual evolution isn't about leaving the earth, it's about honoring it. And this is why I believe ayahuasca is not just any grandmother. She is the embodiment of Mother Earth. She is the consciousness of this planet. And when you drink her medicine, you are not escaping reality, you are reconnecting to it. And I believe that's what so many people forget in their search for awakening. They try to disconnect from the very thing that gives them life. They end up floating away, spiritually enlightened, but physically disconnected. And ayahuasca tries to prevent this from happening. But like all good teachers, she can only show you the way. The rest is up to you. Because even the greatest tool in the universe is only as good as the person who wields it. I mean, you can drink the medicine 100 times, but if you don't learn how to stay rooted, if you don't learn how to stay grounded, you run the risk of drifting off. But that's exactly what's happening in our world today. We are drifting further and further from our roots, and we've started to mistake connection for convenience. See, instead of grounding ourselves into earth, we now plug ourselves into machines. Instead of listening to the intelligence of nature, we are chasing the intelligence of code. See, we now live in a world that is obsessed with technology, a world that surrounds us, consumes us, and promises to make life easier. And in many ways, it has, right? We have a lot of conveniences in our modern world, and a lot of these conveniences are great. But one thing we must learn is that not all progress is evolution. Sometimes the tools we make actually slow us down or hold us back. See, technology can be like a back brace. At first, it makes you stronger. It helps you. It gives you support. But if you wear that back brace too long, eventually your own muscles in your body will atrophy and you will actually become weaker as a result of wearing that back brace. Now today we stand on the edge of something new emerging. Artificial intelligence, a force that's powerful, helpful, and all-encompassing, but it's also unpredictable, right? Like, we do not know if AI is going to further our evolution, if it's going to make us better, or if it's actually going to hold us back, or possibly even enslave us. And while everybody is obsessed with AI, with artificial intelligence, we can't forget about the original AI, the OG, right? Ancestral intelligence or ancient intelligence, right? The intelligence of nature, the intelligence of the cosmos, the intelligence of Earth. See, because long before AI, long before artificial intelligence, we had a different kind of technology, a living technology. And it was this technology, this ancestral intelligence or this ancient intelligence that gave us language, mathematics, music, architecture, medicine, and it gave birth to consciousness itself. And what's crazy is we didn't download this intelligence off of a server. We received it through connection, through ceremony, through the earth. And again, that's why ayahuasca is so important, especially in this day and age, because she is a direct line, a living conduit to the source of all creation. She is the original Ethernet cable connecting us to the cosmic mainframe. She is a reminder that true intelligence doesn't come from algorithms, it comes from awareness. It comes from presence. It comes from harmony and connection with the natural world. So as we race towards this new age of machine intelligence, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of intelligence are we trying to evolve with? Artificial or ancestral? See, the deeper I go into this work, the more I realize that balance and harmony is everything. The universe itself was built on it. Creation depends on it. And ayahuasca, she teaches it. See, like I said before, ayahuasca is the living embodiment of the union of opposites. She is the manifestation of the masculine and feminine energies. But this journey, this connection, this harmony with opposites isn't just about a plant or ceremony, it's about us. Because the same duality that exists in nature, that exists in ayahuasca, also exists inside of us. See, we are both grounded and infinite, both matter and spirit, both logic and intuition. And see, right now, humanity stands at a crossroads between two worlds. One world is built on machines, on control, on artificial connection. The other is rooted in nature, in rhythm, in the pulse of life itself. The question is, which world will we choose? And see, maybe the answer isn't to reject one and worship the other. Maybe the lesson is to bring both worlds into harmony, to merge the wisdom with innovation, to merge technology with consciousness. Because that's the essence of creation, right? That's the sacred dance of duality. See, when we learn to hold both energies inside us without letting either one consume us, we then become whole. And that's what ayahuasca has been teaching this whole time. She's not here to show us the light. She's here to show us the balance. And maybe that's what this next chapter of humanity is all about. Not choosing one intelligence over the other, but remembering that both worlds, both intelligences come from the same source. Maybe it's time that we now become the bridge between nature and technology, between heaven and earth, between spirit and matter. And maybe the more we honor both, the more human we actually become. So as the world rushes towards artificial intelligence, I urge you to remember the original intelligence, the one that connects you to the earth. Because the deeper you go into that connection, the weirder and more beautiful it gets. See you on the other side.